Okay, so this video is going to be about the Supreme Court, how it works. It's the judicial branch of the United States. Some nice things to know are that it's the top of the judicial branch for the federal government, has a final say in all matters dealing with the United States Constitution. This is some information that might be helpful. The United States Supreme Court consists of the United States Court of Appeals, the United States. This is today's court. As you can see, it consists mostly of males and one female. So your question might be, what is the Supreme Court? Well, the Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices that interpret the law. They are selected by the President of the United States, and they're approved by the Senate. They're also appointed for life.
Mr. Russo, I have a question.
What's your question, John?
What happens if they die?
If they die, the President gets to select the replacement. It just needs to be approved by the Senate to be confirmed.
Is there, Mr. Russo?
Yes.
Is there a minimum number of women that have to be on the court?
There is not necessarily a minimum number of women. Great question. Now we're going to watch a short video that talks about a recent Supreme Court decision that's currently being reviewed.
As hundreds gathered at the steps of the Supreme Court Wednesday, protesters both for and against Arizona's SB 1070 made sure their voices were heard. The Supreme Court began hearing oral arguments today in the Department of Justice's case against Arizona's controversial anti-immigration law. It was just 2 years ago that Republican Governor Jan Brewer signed the bill, striking the match that sparked a national debate. Since then, 5 other states have filed similar immigration laws.
This is very important to me, to my friends, and to my family.
1070 in Arizona is unconstitutional and should not be used as a model for the rest of the country.
The court will look closely at 4 key provisions of the law. Can state and local police ask for documentation at routine traffic stops? Is it a state crime for a person to be in Arizona illegally? Is it a crime for illegal immigrants to solicit work? And can local law enforcement arrest illegal immigrants without a warrant if they deem probable cause? Critics say this could lead to racial profiling.
Neighbors don't ask neighbors for their papers when they go to church together.
Ali Noorani, executive director of the National Immigration Forum, says the main issue is that Arizona is setting their own immigration policy, when it should be a federal responsibility.
We're going to go down a slippery slope of 50 different states with 50 different immigration laws. Immigrants will be profiled in one state and welcomed in another, and that's not the way our founding fathers imagined it.
But Dan Stein, president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, says Arizona is just trying to hold the government accountable.
The Obama administration doesn't seem to care how much state taxpayers are saddled with the costs of illegal immigration. And if the Supreme Court sides with the Obama administration, it ultimately means the end of the American quality of life as we know it.
A Quinnipiac University poll conducted last week found that 68% of Americans approve of SB 1070. And while the Supreme Court's not expected to rule until June, many are wondering how this could affect the upcoming presidential election, with the Hispanic vote expected at 12 million strong.
The Latino, Asian, and immigrant vote is the fastest growing part of the electorate in the country. They're going to be looking to the candidates and asking them, what is your position on this law?
Either way, folks outside the court, including Arizona's governor, say it isn't over yet.
We forget that we're talking about human beings.
We need to show that the Latino community is not going to be underestimated again.
Gangs are coming in. We need to know who's coming in.
All we are asking is that they work collectively with us to enforce the laws. We believe in the rule of law.
A landmark decision that will certainly be one for the history books. For USA Today, Maxine Park, Washington.
This land was made for you and me.